Welcome to The Explainer. You know, we're constantly trying to figure out why some things just work and others, well, they fall apart. From businesses to entire societies. Today, we're going to unpack a powerful framework that gives us a blueprint for understanding complexity itself. So here's our game plan. We'll start by looking at why we're so quick to blame the wrong things when systems fail. Then we'll get into the blueprint itself, the core ingredients for success. We'll see how that plays out at the extremes, and then turn it into a practical diagnostic tool you can actually use. And finally, we'll see how this whole idea can help us design a better future. All right, first things first, we have to talk about a major shift in thinking. It's about moving away from playing the blame game and toward actually understanding the mechanics of a system. So the source material for this explainer kicks off with this incredibly bold idea that there's a single master blueprint that explains how all complex things either thrive or disintegrate, whether it's a single cell or an entire civilization. I mean, think about it, right? We don't blame a shaman anymore when there's a drought. We look at meteorology. We don't blame bad spirits for an illness. We go to a doctor. So why is it that for these huge, complex problems like poverty, we still just point fingers at leaders or blame bad luck instead of looking for the underlying structural problem? Okay, so what is this blueprint then? Let's dive into the core theory and look at the essential ingredients you need to create any system that's built to last. The source gives this dynamic a name, Minordo. Now, don't think of it as some outside force. It's more like a name for the journey a system takes along a spectrum, all the way from total chaos to a state of beautiful, thriving order. And what drives that journey is its own internal design. And here they are, the 4 non-negotiables. The source is really clear on this. These are the absolute building blocks for any successful system. If you're missing even one, or if one is weak, the whole thing is destined to decline. You need all 4 working together for something amazing to emerge. Now, what's really important to get is that these 4 ingredients don't just create a simple on or off switch. Nope, they create a whole spectrum. And at either end of that spectrum, you find 2 very powerful states: collapse and coherence. So at the low end, you get what the source calls Minordo. This is total structural failure. It's not just messy, it's when the system completely loses its ability to do anything useful with the energy it has. It just falls apart. And then at the high end, you've got Altordo. This is the sweet spot. This is where all 4 ingredients are not just there, they're singing in harmony. A system in Altordo is resilient, it's adaptive, and it's constantly creating new and better possibilities for itself. And this just lays it out so clearly. It's not about good versus evil, or some outside force attacking a system. It's all about the internal conditions. Minordo is what happens when that essential architecture breaks down. Altordo is what happens when it's aligned and working perfectly. And here's where it gets really mind-blowing. This isn't just a metaphor for business consultants. This spectrum applies everywhere, from the physics that keeps a star stable to the biology of a living cell, and, most importantly for us, to the health of our own societies. Okay, so this is all fascinating theory, but here's where it gets super practical. This isn't just an idea, it's a diagnostic tool that we can use to figure out exactly why a system is failing. First question on the checklist, always, energy. Is there enough fuel coming in? And that energy could be anything: money, data, human effort, natural resources. Is it there? Is it consistent? Okay, next up, structure. You've got the energy, but is there a container for it? Are there rules or processes or organizations in place to actually absorb that energy and channel it? Because energy without structure, that's just chaos. Then we check the compass. Is everybody rowing in the same direction? Is there a clear shared mission that's guiding all the different parts of the system toward one single goal? And finally, the last piece of the puzzle, outward flow. Does the system have a way to interact with the world around it? Can it export what it makes, share what it learns, and form productive relationships? A system that's closed off will eventually stagnate and die. All right, to really see this thing in action, let's use a powerful example from the source material. We're going to look at a rural community that's stuck in poverty year after year, even though the people there work incredibly hard. So you apply the diagnostic, and what do you see? The problem isn't a lack of effort. The energy, the land, the water, the labor, it's all there, but it's scattered. There's no effective structure, like a co-op, to focus it. There's no unified direction. Everyone's just struggling on their own. And the outward flow to actually sell their produce is blocked. It's a complete Minordo failure. And that explains why just throwing money at the problem, like with foreign aid, often fails. You have to fix the design first. And this is the most hopeful and powerful part of this whole idea. This framework isn't some kind of death sentence for broken systems. It's a design manual for building better ones. This just completely reframes the problem, doesn't it? We can stop blaming people for not trying hard enough. It's not a failure of will. It's an engineering problem. It's a failure of design. And that's something we can actually fix. And this also changes what it means to be a real leader. It means your job isn't to be the hero who rides in and commands everyone. Your job is to be an architect, a gardener, someone who patiently builds the system and cultivates the conditions for success to emerge on its own. So I'll leave you with this question. Now that you have this blueprint, this new way of seeing the world, what system in your life is ready for a redesign? Look at your workplace, your community, maybe a big national issue you care about. Ask yourself, where's the breakdown and what needs to be built to move it from collapse toward coherence?